Hello, thank you very much for joining us this evening. My name is Dr. Patrick Singh, greatness research and help people discover their greatness and document it and monetize it or make money out of it. This afternoon in Galveston and evening in London, I'm very pleased to welcome to the show Grace Sandles. Grace Sandles is the Director of Sales at ATS GR Companies, and she'll be sharing a story on how Antonio Smith changed her life. Grace is one of the co-authors of this book which just came out this week. Antonio Smith changed our lives, so she will be sharing a story which is in this book. Hello, Grace. How are you?
I am wonderful, Patrick. Thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me to share today.
Oh, thank you very much for joining us this evening. It's been a pleasure to host you, looking that you're very, very busy in your schedule, and you've managed to create this time to be with us. So could you tell us what you do in your day-to-day activities?
Yes, sir. Here at the ATSJR companies, I am, as you say, the director of sales, and that entails many things, but most of all, it entails building relationships with people to get their goals and dreams achieved. We are here to help them achieve their dreams. We are I say the middleman to get them to where they want to be. We're here to help them achieve their goals and make profitable companies, profitable people more profitable.
Wow, and do you do that through coaching or training or what?
I do that mainly through sales. I do train and coach some. Mostly, I do sales, and that involves talking to people, calling them cold calls. We call them over the phone. People who have businesses that may be struggling, or they're just starting a business and don't know how to start, don't know where to start. And that way, when I speak with them, build a relationship with them, build a rapport with them to see what it is that they actually truly want for themselves and their businesses, I can tell them how we're here. Our company is here to help them with our services.
Wow, that's amazing work. That's great. So I guess you haven't done this for the most of your life. What got you into all this? What did you do before becoming a director of sales?
Before working with the ATSJR companies, I was a middle school math teacher for 11 years. So I
Wow.
know a lot about numbers. Yes, sir.
It's great. Yes, maths. Yeah. So you used to be a teacher and then you stopped teaching or you retired from teaching. What happened? What created the change?
Well, as I was teaching, during my 11 years, by year 5, there was a voice that grew in me, and the voice was talking to me saying, "Hey, Grace, there's something else out there for you. I think,
Mhm.
it's our time to move." And I spoke to my mother about it, and she's a veteran teacher, has been teaching for over 25 years. She's now retired, but she loves children. And I told her, "Mom, I think it's time for me to go. I think it's something that's, something else that I need to do." And she said, "Oh, you're just tired. You just need the summer off. Take your summer break. And then when you come back in August for school, you'll be fresh." And she was right. I was refreshed, ready to go. But every year after year 5, the voice grew louder and said, "Hey, Grace, it's time for us to go. There's something else out there to do." And by year number 11, not 11, year 10, the voice just was screaming and said, "Grace, if you do not get out of here, it's going to be a big problem." And in this time, I had met Antonio and telling him about it, and he knew that I was ready to retire and to get out of the classroom. And he said, "I'm going to help you, but you just got to trust me." And so I was a little reluctant at first, but I put my head down, listened to the things he said, applied what he said, and started running. And May 31st of this year was my last day of teaching. And so he was able to help me to retire and get out of the classroom.
Wow. So I guess that without meeting Antonio Smith, you'd still be teaching. Hello. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. this afternoon in Galveston, Texas. Thank you for joining us this afternoon in London. In case you just joined us, I'm talking to Grace Sandles live from Texas, and she's sharing a story on how Antonia Smith changed her life. And she was at a point whereby saying that she met Antonia Smith when he was about who was about 33 years, according to her story. And Antonia Smith helped her retire from her job. So what was the first encounter with Antonia Smith?
The first encounter with him, he and I, and he along with Tempest, and then myself and another good friend of mine who I grew up with, we we are a part of an organization where our church was a conference. And this is where I first met him. I found out that he had been retired since the age of 29. And I was like, well, you've been retired since the age of 29 and you're now about 33, 34 years old. You kind of know a thing or two about money. Wow. And so I asked him if he would help me with my finances. And he agreed. We sat down at a Starbucks. I gave him everything that he needed to see on my end to see how he could help me. And he said, okay, I see what your problem is. You need to pay yourself first. And at the time, my awareness was not there to where I could understand, hey, you need to pay yourself first, because my mind was, hey, we got to pay these bills first. And so yes, I was polite. And I allowed him to finish. But when he was done, I said, I do appreciate you sitting here and, helping me, but I just can't see paying myself first without paying all my bills. And that went on for the next 2 years. So nothing changed. I still needed help with my finances. By the time there, I went back to him and I asked him, would he help me again? And he said, yeah, I'll help you. And he said, my answer is not changing. You need to pay yourself first. And he said, how dare you pay Capital One before you pay Grace? That's when, ever since then, I can't afford not to pay me. So that was my first encounter with Antonio.
Wow. So the aspect of him saying, how dare you pay Capital One before you pay Grace? You must pay yourself. You must recognize yourself. That created a shift in you.
Yes. Yes, it did. Wow. Yes, it did.
And how did you implement that shift? How did you implement that advice? What changed in your life, in your finances, because of Antonia Smith?
Well, ever since then, I always had the discipline, what people call tithes, or a tenth to whatever you decide to pay your tithes to, whether it be a religious organization or charity. I had always been a tenth of my income to my religious organization. And so it was just a discipline of, hey, pay yourself 10% as well. That way, when things come up, emergencies come up, you will be financially able to, you're prepared for them. And it just created a discipline in me to do that. And I, like I said, I can't afford not to do that.
Because a lot of people struggle at this moment whereby they run businesses, but instead of paying themselves, they pay the business, and they're overspending, they're spending even the little amount of borrowing again into the business. How do you create that shift from paying others to paying yourself? That's the thing. What financial reorganization did you have to go through? Did you have to cut off some things from your life or forgo certain things? How did you implement it?
Yes, one of the things when we sat down, Antonio asked me to list out everything, all of my, he looked at them, he said, okay, you need to get rid of. And so that was the first things that he suggested. That was the that happened. So because I got rid of some things that I now don't have to pay, I have extra money that I can put away. A lot of times businesses, they pay pay the bills first and don't have money to take care of themselves. Well, if you don't first, your business is going to go out of business.
True. Oh, thank you very much for sharing that tip on how to manage our finances, on how to organize our lives so that we're able to consider ourselves, put ourselves first rather than putting others first. And you've been working with Antonio, as far as I understand, for about 5 years now.
It's it's close to about 4. We're at the almost at the 4-year mark.
Uh-huh. And in one of the conversations and in this book, you say that one day he said to you, I'm going to help you retire, but you've got to trust me. So how has that happened? How did that happen?
Well, he told me, "Hey, I trust me," and nobody's ever told me that they would help me to retire. So, and he helped me with my finances. So, and he was, and so I said, well, he helped me become financially sound. So I think he may be able to help me to retire to actually live my dreams. And so I just decided, hey, Grace, you've been doing it your way for 11 years. Your dreams haven't come true yet. So let's listen to someone come true and is still making their dreams come. That way, he kind of knows what he's talking about. So, put yourself to the side, get out and get some help.
Mm-hmm. So it took you a lot of time to develop the trust that you're going to be able to actualize the retirement decision, isn't it? You didn't stop your job
Yes,
immediately and straight away, but it was a gradual process of growing and learning from Antonio.
yes, sir. Very much so. Very much so. It was, I I fought him the whole way. He will tell you, I fought him the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, when I start, when I began to see things and that I can retire, not at the age that the world thinks you should retire, which is like maybe 65, but I can retire to 37.
Oh yes, yes. Oh, thank you very much. So this is exciting and it's interesting because you're saying that Antonio Smith helped you change your life by changing your finances. He helped you change your life by helping you retire. But also in your story, you talk about him helping you overcome anger and low self-esteem. Could you enlighten us more about that and how that happened?
Yes, I, I'll say I didn't know. I was kind of like the addict, whether it was a drug addict or an alcoholic. People are addicted to anger.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who is addicted to anything, they don't know they have a problem because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame.
Yes.
So it was one day, and Antonio, myself, and 2 other friends of ours. It was Tempest as well as Tempest Smith as well as Shannon Clark. We were all at this conference another year at this conference, and we were out, and he and my friend told me, "Hey, friend, you kind of have an anger problem, and if you don't get it together, the friends that you desire, the friends that you want, the life that you want will not come to pass because you have so much anger and you're going to push everyone away." And at the time, growing up, like I said, I didn't know I had an anger problem, but when my friends brought it to my attention, I went back to my childhood and I understood, okay, I was angry. This is why certain, my friends really didn't hang around with me as much as I would like them to because they didn't know which grace they were going to get that day. Hey, Antonio. And because they didn't know, as an adult now, when they were bringing this to my eyes and to my awareness was heightened. And now I was ready for this. Got they were correct. And I needed to hone in on my anger issues and to get some help. And that's when Antonio, he did help me with that. He even though I was angry and had issues, to help me, what's the word, uh, I want to say get rid of the anger, but every time, sometimes there are times when things happen and it comes
Mhm.
back. But he helped me to, I guess, suppress and to
To manage
really.
anger, or how to manage
uh,
the situation whenever it comes up. Yes.
that's it.
Mhm.
Stop, pause, and think. And
Wow.
I'll tell you this, Mr. Patrick. This is when I knew he was really helping me. He said, the next time you get angry, ask yourself, is what I'm angry at really worth my happiness? And that's when, just like when he told me, how dare you pay Capital One before you pay Grace? That's
Mhm.
when I took a shift.
Ah, so basically, in terms of you meeting Antonio, you're able to organize your finances, you're able to retire, you're able to manage your anger, and all that has happened because of Antonio, and you share your story in this great book. Thank you very much, Grace, for being who you are and for opening up your heart to people and being able to share your life story so that other people can learn from you and grow because of you and change their lives. So, how do you help others change their lives? Do you support people in terms of managing their finances, overcoming angers? How do you implement what you have learned from Antonio?
Both of those things that you just said, when conversations come up, I actually was afforded the opportunity to speak at an
Mhm.
event held by myself and my good friend Shannon. Like I said, we grew up together, and in our organization that we're a part of, our church that we're a part of, we had a conference, and she told me, I don't know anyone else as of right now who can speak on this subject of finances than you. And so I
Mhm.
spoke, and I was able to tell the people how they should pay themselves first, and how whatever deity of your choice that you serve knows that it is okay to actually pay you first. Because I told them there's a sacred text that I read that says the poor will be among you always, but I also let them know you don't have to be one of them. And so
Mhm.
every chance I get, if somebody asks me about finances, I just remember the things that Antonio taught me, and I help them. As
Mhm.
far as also with the anger, um, I, I, my mastermind helps me a great deal. And when I see some things that some of my friends are going through and are doing and are showing, I will take them to the side and say, hey, I used to be you. Don't be me. This is how you
Mhm.
get out of this. This is how you get past this. I rejected a lot, and I bottled stuff in a lot. And when I see other people doing that, I let them know, hey, that in no way will serve you, and it will push you further away from your dreams and goals that you want. So this is what I did, and this is how I got help, and I want to be able to help you.
Wow, thank you very much, Grace. Thank you. And we have lots of people watching at the moment and saying thank you very much for sharing your story. And that is amazing. That's interesting. That's inspiring. Just before we end this interview, uh, towards the end of your story, you say that Antonio has a very big heart for people and he loves helping people reach their goals and dreams. I'm sure you've seen this happen over and over again. Is there one moment that sticks in your mind where that has happened for you or the people around?
Um, can you repeat that question one more time? I want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Yes, you said towards the end of your story, the story you read here, you said that Antonio has a very big heart for people
Right.
and he loves helping people. So we're
Mm-hmm.
looking for examples that stick in your mind on how Antonio has helped people, even without paying him, because there are lots of things I guess he does without being paid. Is there a moment that sticks in your mind that you'd like to share with us?
Okay. You were saying where there were times where in the beginning where we didn't get paid. Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
No, no, no. How Antonio helps other people even when they don't pay him.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I have seen that time and time again. Um, one of the companies that we have within the ATSJR companies is the
Mhm.
ATS Business University. And I have seen his heart. I always tell whoever I'm on the phone with, I let them know that Antonio has a mind for business and a heart for people.
Mhm.
And it's just something about when I get them on the phone with him, he feels their energy and he feels their genuineness. And it's it's there are some times where people don't have the necessary funds to be a part of the university. So what he does is he gives a wealth of knowledge, millions, thousands and millions of dollars away to them at no charge until they are able to get their finances together to become a member of the business university. I've seen it time and time again. We have a product that's over 160 hours of business marketing and sales mastery, and it's 83 courses, and he gives that away for free. It is worth thousands of dollars, and he just gives it away for free. So it's his heart is so big. He wants everybody to win, and he is so intense about that. And I let people know when I'm on. You said you wanted this, so on the phone with him, how you going to become, and he is going to be your biggest cheer. Also going to be very, and you said you wanted to get this done. You whatever I need to do, I'm going to help you get this as fast as possible, as quick as we can, because and it's just the heart that he has.
Oh, thank you very much for sharing that, Grace. And you mentioned about the APS Business University and about the free product that module or training that sometimes Antonio gave to people for free. There might be some of our viewers watching now or in the future, and they might not be able to afford to buy some of the training from you or from Antonio or from other businesses. So how can they access that? Is there a qualification criteria or?
Well, what they can do is, I'll say, email email us at info at thejr.com. That's info at atsjr.com. Let us know that you are definitely serious about wanting to start a business and wanting to build. You don't have the necessary funds to get started within the business universe. And if there's any tell us specifically what it is that you would like to master within your business so that it can become more profitable. And that way we know what products that we have at no charge.
Mhm. Okay, thank you very much. So people should email you at info@atsgr.com if they're interested in getting involved with your training. If they're interested in any free product. Okay, I just got the exact email, had got the wrong one. Thank you very much, Tempest, for that. Yeah, so you can email this and then we'll be able to get to them as soon as possible.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. So just before we end, you end your story by saying, thank you, Antonio, for helping me with my finances, helping me retire from teaching, helping me overcome anger and low self-esteem, and believing in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. You have helped me in ways I never would have imagined, and for that I am forever grateful to you and appreciate you. So if you had sum Antonio in 1 minute, or all that you know about him, what would you say?
Oh my goodness. Sum Antonio up in 1 minute. I don't know if it's possible. Again, Antonio has a big heart. He has a mind for business and a heart for people. If you are serious about your dreams coming to fruition, if you are really serious that you want to go to work and not just say you want to go to work, if you are, you're passionate about what it is that you want to do in your life, and you know what that is, he is the person. He is definitely the person to help you reach your goals and dreams. I have seen it many times over. Uh, I'm not only a worker within the company. I am a product of the company. And I tell anybody, if he can help me, he can help you.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you very much, Grace. Thank you for sharing your time with us. Thank you for sharing your story on how Antonio Smith has changed your life. And ladies and gentlemen, in case you're still interested in following up this story and knowing more about Grace and other co-authors or other people being changed by Antonio Smith, this book is available on Amazon. Feel free to get it as ebook, paperback, and very soon as a hardback or hard copy. Thank you very much, Grace. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and have a great evening, afternoon. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.